Perfect. Hello, you got Mr. Smith, point 5 of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and tonight's training is about what you need to know about credit and how to host your very own credit workshop. So, with that being said, this is how I access the presentation that I'll be going over tonight, basically showing you what you need to know about your own credit and what you need to do or get access to in order to host your very own credit workshop. So you should be very familiar with the screen that's being displayed. This is none other than the My Econ Business Management Center. And you see this every single time you log into your account. As soon as you log into your account, boom, this is looking right in your face. So in order to access material as it relates to presentations, 9 times out of 10 it's going to always be in the same section. So on the Business Management Center, all you're looking for is the Document Center. That's where all the documents are. And this is where you can use what's available to make money. So for now, you go to the Document Center, you click on this presentation section, and then it'll give you a drop down on what all is entailed in the presentation section. As you can see, you got the business presentation PowerPoint, you got the business presentation PDF. Those are just different formats of the same presentation. And you got the business presentation talking points. So a lot of people just went over this recently just to realize, wow, I don't have to be the expert. I just need to understand how to read the talking points. And then if you're doing a public presentation, you'll just get better at breezing through the slides and adding your own spin to it. But what we're going over tonight is the My Econ My Credit System Presentation Flip Chart, formerly known as the Smart Credit System. Same thing, just My Credit is more in alignment with My Econ. So just understand it's the same thing, just different branding, for lack of a better word. Now, I do not see the talking points for the My Credit System. I may reach out to the corporate and just let them know, hey, well, the talking points supposed to be in here because I know it could be beneficial. However, I do have talking points from when it was previously called the Smart Credit System, and that's what I'll be going over as well, just to show you the simplicity. Not that I have to have the talking points in order to go over the presentation, but what I want to do is make sure that I'm doing something that can duplicate. See, it's one thing for me to do something and it appears to be all fancy. Then people think that only I can do it. No. The things that we teach, the things that we do are duplicatable, meaning you can do it too. Of course, you'll get better over time and always make progression, as we all do, but don't overcomplicate it. And that's what I want to simplify and let you understand. Look, I'm going to be using the talking points just so you can understand that this is something you can do as well. So currently the My Credit System presentation talking points are not in here. However, I will be referring to this My Credit presentation. I just wanted to show you how I got to it. So all I did was go to the BMC home. After going to the BMC home, I clicked on Document Center. After clicking on Document Center, I expanded the section underneath the presentation. And right underneath the presentation, you can access all of the presentation information you need, printouts, or slides that you can use. And this time, we're using the My Credit System. So that's that. Now, let's go ahead and go back to where we were as it relates to the actual presentation itself. And let me make sure this can be seen. Make sure I can see it on my end before I start running off at the mouth again. Audio. And as soon as I see it on my screen, I will get it started. Perfect. All right, I see it on my end. So let's dive in. The My Credit System, what you need to know. See, this is what you need to know about your credit. First of all, I just want to thank you all for coming to the Smart Credit System Workshop, formerly known as the Smart Credit System, but it is now the My Credit System. So I just want to thank you all for coming to the Credit Workshop. Now, let me preface this before I dive too deep. How I'm going to be delivering this message is going to be as if I'm doing an online workshop to my econers. However, you'll learn some things about credit that you might not have known, or it just might be a reiteration of things that you already knew. So I'm going to speak as though you're not my econers because I'm going to leverage this video, but also just give you an example of how you can flow and do a credit workshop yourself, whether it's online and you're doing it behind the screen like I'm currently doing it, or if it's a physical location. And I'll give you just some ideas of things that you can consider as it relates to doing your very own credit workshop in your area. So My Credit System and what you need to know as it pertains to your credit. So thank you for just coming out to the Smart Credit Workshop, where we talk about your credit, the things that most people don't tell you about. You see, we're excited to share some great information with you today. After you complete this workshop, I can guarantee that you will have some information that you need to make the right decision as it relates to your personal credit needs. Everybody's credit is different, and different people need different things as it pertains to their credit, but you'll have the information that you need in order to make the right decision pertaining to your personal credit. But before I get started, I just want to, kind of share my personal story as it relates to being a part of this platform, this system, and how I was able to just implement the strategy portion of it, because my credit I didn't have to mail off letters in order to enhance my credit. That wasn't my scenario, as I stated. Everybody has different credit needs. However, the strategic approach that we teach in this My Credit system, I was able to implement, apply, and to change some things in my credit that allowed me to experience 800 credit scores. 2 of my credit scores were over 800, and then the other one was like a 794. All just from applying the strategy portion of it. So it's not just about getting things removed and mailing off letters. Sometimes you can just strategically enhance your credit, as I was able to do using this credit system. So let's dive in. Let's start off the conversation pretty much just talking about a few facts as it relates to the credit industry, because credit affects everyone in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Therefore, everybody should be interested in credit. And a lot of people are, and a lot of people just think it's harder than what it is. But let's just kind of dive into some of the facts. You see, 68 million people have poor credit. 40 million people have an error on their credit. So that's basically saying that 1 in 5 people have an error on their credit report. In 2018, the credit repair industry earned over $3 billion. So it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Oftentimes we say a billion-dollar industry, but it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, which means there's money that's being made off of the people who have no clue about this credit platform, but there's money to be made once you have an understanding about what you're learning tonight. So 79% of people who disputed errors on their credit report were successful and getting them removed. That's a big deal. So that's almost 80% of the people who disputed things that were on their credit, they had success in getting it removed off of their credit. Why is that important to you? Because if that many people have an error on their credit report, and 80%, just about 80% of the people got it removed off of their credit, then it's a good chance that you may have an error on your credit report, and it's a great chance that you can get it removed, which enhances your credit. So because of the importance credit plays in our lives, everyone wants good or great credit. So let's talk about it. You see, as people get older, this is what tends to happen. Their credit scores typically improve. A study found on the Wallet Hub showed that on average, the oldest people have the highest credit score. Then this was just a study done by the Wallet Hub, which is a blog. It says 70-plus-year-olds have an average credit score of 730. 50 to 69-year-olds have an average credit score of 700. 35 to 49-year-olds have an average credit score of 655. 21 to 34, average score of 634. And typically 20 and under have an average credit score of 631. So sometimes the age gives a statistic of what your credit score may look like. Just a statistic, not a guarantee, because ours is totally different from our age range, but these are just some of the statistics that showed up. Now, as a person ages, what happens is they will have had time to accumulate some type of wealth. Their income earning potential grows, and they are likely to be wiser and more financially responsible. In addition, the credit score formula weights 15% of a person's score on the length of credit. So that's why they're able to have a high credit score, because they've had the opportunity to have a longer timeline as it pertains to their credit. So 15% of their credit is just based on the length of their credit history. So older individuals just had that chance to do it more so than those who are younger. So just keep that in mind. Now, scores also vary by income. Just like statistically credit is impacted by age, it is also impacted by income. You see, once again, a study from the Wallet Hub showed that the higher a person's annual income was, the higher their credit score was likely to be. So, this is what you got to understand. People with annual incomes of $30,000 or less tended to have an average credit score of 590. People with an annual income between $30,000 and $50,000 tended to have an average credit score of 643, while an annual income between $50,000 and $75,000, they tend to have an average credit score of 737. So you don't have to earn a lot of money to have excellent credit. However, your credit is based on your ability to pay your bills on time. If you're in a lower income earning bracket, it may be a little tougher to always pay bills on time due to your lack of financial resources. Now, this is something you might want to write down. Bad credit is not a cause of lack of income. It is the result of lack of income. I'm going to say that again. Bad credit is not a cause of lack of income. It is the result of the lack of income. So what does that actually mean? You see, you having bad credit does not cause you to have a lack of income. It was the lack of income that currently is already in place that might position you to have bad credit due to the fact that it may be a bit of a struggle to pay certain things on time due to the lack of income. So let's deal with it. Now, as it relates to the credit score, what is a good credit score? You know, what is considered to be good credit versus bad credit? Well, one of the most well-known types of credit scores out there is the FICO score. That's what most people are, using to score their credit. These scores are used by many lenders, and it ranges from 300 to 850 points. And this was kind of an aha moment for me once I understood that it started at 300 and it ended at 850 points. I realized all people are really concerned with is 550 points. Because if the bare minimum is 300, then all you're dealing with is 550 points. And once you understand that, then you understand the importance that each facet as it relates to the credit plays on your credit and how you need to maximize to get the most of the 550 available points. So that said, scores that are 750 and above are considered very good or exceptional credit. Many of you already know this. Applicants with 800 credit scores or greater tend to receive the best interest rate. So they pay less for the same thing everybody else is buying just because their credit is good. So applicants with credit scores ranging between 700 to 749 are solid customers who lenders love to lend to. Borrowers can typically get a fair interest rate. So even though it's not quite 800, 700 to 750, you still get a fair, what they call fair interest rate. Applicants with credit scores between 650 and 700, they usually have no problem qualifying for a loan, but the rates they pay are not as favorable. So let me mute out real quick. I hear a little background noise. If you can do us a favor, mute out your line. All right. All right, let's get back to it. So, applicants with credit scores between 650 to 700 usually have no problems qualifying for a loan, but the rates they pay are not as favorable. And a lot of people sit into this spot where they have 650 to 700, and they usually can qualify for loans no problem. And that's why you see a lot of people saying, we'll approve you for this. You have no problem getting approved, because they can qualify for the things that you may want, whether it's a car, whether it's a home, but you better believe you're paying double what somebody else will pay who has better credit, because their interest rate has the tendency to compound, and now you find yourself paying more. So the credit rate usually sucks, for lack of better words. Applicants with credit scores between 600 to 649 are considered to be subprime borrowers, and they pay the highest interest rate next to those with bad credit if they can even get a loan. So sometimes they may not even qualify, but if they do, you better believe they put a nice price tag on their interest rate. So applicants with credit scores below 600 may be required to pay a fee or put down a deposit for things, and applicants with this low rating may not be approved for credit at all. So this happens a lot of times, but that's not where it ends. So let's talk about your whole score, because sometimes people only think about one part of the credit, and that's getting something removed. Like, that's one of the most popular pieces of the credit world. I was talking about getting things removed off of their credit. However, that may not be the best idea, because if you just look at the numbers, just look at the breakdown, and you might want to get a screenshot of this just so you can kind of keep this in your records, keep this in your memory, or take notes on this. But just look at the whole score, and this ought to give you a understanding of why just getting things removed may not be enough. So, repairing your credit is easy because there's a basic formula that scores are calculated by. Each credit reporting agency has subtle differences, but they all pretty much are just based on these 5 factors. For one, payment history, and as you can see in that red, it said you automatically start with 300 points. That's kind of the what I was talking about when I said you only have 550 points to even worry about. So look at how these numbers break down, and it tallies up, or it totals up to that 550. So payment history, which accounts for 35% of the score. So payment history is really the biggest bang as it relates to your credit. So really it's important for you to focus on having good payment history, because it takes up more than 1/3 of your credit. Credit utilization accounts for 30% of the score. So those two alone, if you just do the math, that's 65% of your score right there, just the utilization. That has nothing to do with getting something removed and the payment history. Plus the credit history or length of history, which accounts for 15% of the score. So that's 15%. New credit accounts for 10% of the score. Credit mix accounts for 10% of the score as well, and it all totals up to the full amount as it relates to what they look at when it comes to your credit. Now, many credit repair companies focus solely on payment history. Sometimes that's what they look at. So it's important to focus on that, not only because it's more than 1/3, but because sometimes they only look at payment history. They want to confirm that you have the ability to pay them back over a certain period of time. However, the My Credit system has an advantage in that it addresses the whole score, which includes all 5 factors. Not many people, if any, can say that they focus on the whole score, not just certain parts. So over the next few slides, what I'll share is just how the My Credit system addresses all 5 factors. Number 1, payment history. The solution all boils down to 4 letters. So the solution for payment history is centered around 4 letters that are often called the 609 letters. These letters address a consumer's right under the Section 609 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Everything has to go through the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So the Section 609 is what these letters address. It states that credit reporting agencies are required to only report verifiable information and provide the consumer with proof of verification if requested. That's very important for you to understand. Proof of verification. These entities have to provide proof of verification if it is requested, and this helps out a lot of people. So letter number 1 is the debt validation letter. This letter is basically a part of the Federal Credit Reporting Act that states that you have a right to request that the CRAs, the Credit Reporting Act, validate that the debt that you owe or the debt that you are disputing is yours. So if you put in their request, they have to prove that the debt that you are disputing belongs to you. Sometimes they drop the ball in that area. The other letter is the method of verification. So they state that if the Credit Reporting Act validates your debt, you have the right to ask them for proof of verification, like we were stating just a second ago. So even if they validate that it's your debt, you ask them for proof of verification. It's a certain way that they have to go about proving or verifying that is yours. Violation of the FCRA rights. This letter reminds the CRA that they have not provided proof verification that was used to validate your debt. So that's another letter. So if they haven't provided what was necessary, you come through with the violation of the FCRA rights, letting them know, look, you have not proved or provided proof that the verification was used to validate my debt. Therefore, according to the law, they must remove the debt off of your credit report. So if they don't do their part, if they don't drop the ball, if somebody came to work and didn't do something properly, then that doesn't come down on you, that goes on them. And the last of the 4 letters is the intent to litigate. This letter is the last letter that's sent. It notifies the CRA that you have exhausted your means of disputing the debt and that they have not proven their method of verification. So you are notifying them that your next course of action is to sue for violation of your FCRA rights, basically the Fair Credit Reporting Act rights. If they have violated your rights and you give them an intent to litigate, meaning that you are intending to sue them, a lot of times things fall off there. So this complete process could take 30 days, could take 60 days, could take 90 days, could take 120 days to complete, because some of it is back and forth. Some of it is instant and you're able to do some things in the 30-day window, but sometimes it may take a little longer. So anywhere from 30 to 120 days is typically the range. There are additional letters in our kit that, include goodwill, you can pay for deletions, medical bill disputes, tax lien disputes, etc. All of that is included in the My Credit system. However, these are the 4 main letters that a lot of people, or that we give you that usually gets the job done. So remember, 79% of the people who disputed errors were successful in removing them. So if 80% was successful in just using these letters, that's how you have the upper hand as it relates to boosting your credit score. This process is where the credit repair companies will stay in, and they will go round and round in circles in this process, charging you every month for sending off letters. So what we always do is just refer back to where we got the information from, and everything goes back to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which protects you because it's in position to make sure that they are not taking advantage of you, but also giving you the ability to make sure that if something isn't there that isn't supposed to be, you can dispute it. And even if it was yours and they couldn't prove it, guess what? You just benefited from that part of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Let's dive in deeper. Credit utilization. That's a huge part as well. Credit utilization. Basically, this part tackles the area that most credit companies ignore. The credit utilization counts 30% towards your credit score. This means credit utilization is almost as important as payment history, just 5% difference. So credit utilization is the ratio of your outstanding credit card balance to your credit card limits. It measures the amount of good credit limit you are using. For example, if your balance is $300 and your credit limit is $1,000, then your credit utilization for that credit card is 30%. So I hope you get the math on that. If it's $1,000 credit limit and your balance on it, meaning the amount you spent of that $1,000 is $300. So your credit card or your credit utilization for that credit card is 30%. So what the My Credit system does is helps you utilize a concept called income shifting to address credit utilization. This is where a lot of people drop the ball at, and this is how we were able to get the 800 credit scores, my wife and I, by using that part of the credit game plan, which is making sure our credit utilization was low. So the only way to fix credit utilization is to pay down your debts and increase your credit limits. If you have bad credit, increasing credit limits will not be an option. So if your credit is decent, sometimes they'll allow you to increase your credit limit. So for example, if you have a credit card that might be $5,000 and your credit isn't that bad, you can ask them to up it. See how much they'll be willing to raise the credit limit to. So if they're willing to take their credit from $5,000 to $10,000, guess what they just did for your credit utilization? It gave you a lower percentage in credit utilization. Here's an example. So say you had $2,500 spent on a credit card that had a limit of $5,000. You had a 50% mark as it relates to your credit utilization. $2,500, half of $5,000. However, if you were to contact them and your credit wasn't horrible and they say they were willing to increase your credit limit and they took it to $10,000 and you still owe that same $2,500, but now you have a $10,000 credit limit, now you went from having 50% credit utilization to having just 25% credit utilization, less than 30%. So that's a big deal. So that's one way to make your credit utilization better by getting a higher credit limit, but the other way is just paying down debt. So most people are living paycheck to paycheck and have no breathing room to rapidly attack their debt. In fact, they're behind on debts and cannot find a way to catch up. So the My Credit system starts off with the first strategy of correcting the tax withholdings. That's what we do. Correcting their W-4. You see, according to the IRS, as we all know, 80% of taxpayers have their withholding form filled out incorrectly. So with the average refund being $3,100, this strategy literally could add an extra $255 per month back into a person's household. That money could then be used to catch up on debts, start rapidly eliminating those debts, thereby lowering their credit utilization. So the next strategy inside of the income shifting concept is creating business income. You see, a lot of times they can focus on your credit, but they don't show you how to get money from where you already may be losing it, which is on the withholding form, the W-4. Also, the ability to earn business income puts you in a different positions because now you're bringing in more income that can be dumped into your debt and maximizing your credit utilization, making it look that much better. So the additional income can be used to pay down your debts and speed up your debt elimination process, just because as an affiliate to this product, when you help someone else with their credit using the My Credit system, you get paid. And the third strategy within that income shifting concept is lowering your taxes. You see, as a new Smart Credit affiliate, you are now a business owner and you qualify for business tax deductions. So now when you're on this live webinar, you're using your electronic device, whether it be a phone or a laptop or the internet, you're able to write off percentages of that, even though you were going to spend the money anyway, which lowers your tax liability, putting more cash flow back into your pocket, allowing you to rapidly knock out your debt, and it's just a win-win-win. And that's the third part of that same income shifting strategy. So you are given access to training that will instruct you on how to write off numerous business expenses, such as car and truck expenses, cell phone, internet travel, rental car, airfare, hotel, everything that's pertaining to you doing business. So with our system, we show you how to legally convert these expenses into deductions. And this lowers your taxes and adds more money to your bottom line. You got to treat your personal finances like a business. And then once you adopt this business, you're automatically in business and you're operating from the comforts of your home, and it converts your expenses into tax deductions. Finally, the My Credit system gives you access to a debt elimination tool. This software will instruct you on the order of debts to pay off and will give you the date when you will be totally debt-free. That's a big deal. Once you know your debt-free date and you've used that tool, it's just liberating to say, I will be debt-free by November of 2020. It's just a liberational feel. If you haven't experienced that yet, I encourage you to go ahead and do the debt calculator and the cash flow strategy so you can know when your debt-free date is, and that can be something you share with others, because most people don't know when they'll be debt-free. So MyEcon is the company that offers the My Credit system, and MyEcon provides you with all the tools and resources to earn great affiliate income for just selling a high-demand product like the My Credit system. Just basically a DIY credit system that gives you everything you need, documentation, the whole nine, in order to earn income and help others better their credit. So let's talk about the next one, credit history. See, credit history accounts for 15%. If you've been taking notes, 15% of your scores is credit history. It's the quickest and easiest solution to have someone who has a credit card with a great payment history and have them add you as an authorized user. Some people call this piggybacking, or just basically they're leveraging their credit, and you get the benefit off of them having great credit. You do not need their card to inherit the payment history. They can simply just add you as an authorized user and have the card sent to them, where they can cut the card so that they are assured you cannot charge anything on their account. And there's services and things that people do in order to boost their credit history. I won't go too deep into that, but just understand that that is a strategy that helps with your credit history if you don't have enough. New credit. Now, 10% of your credit score will be based on your ability to get new credit. However, this can be a challenge if you have a low credit score. I'm going to be honest with you. Consider doing one of the following. Apply for a department store card. If your credit isn't too bad, you may be able to get approved. Apply for a secured credit card, and that's you can put $500 to $1,000 on a secured credit card and use that card to build new credit. So what that looks like is, if you have the ability to get a secured credit card, you're using your own collateral, your own cash, to secure a credit limit. So if you give them $1,000, you now have a credit card that's based on the $1,000 that you gave them, and that credit card now has a $1,000 limit. So as you're using it and you're paying that card back, you're literally paying yourself back, and it builds new credit. Another thing you can do is get a cosigner for a loan. This could be good for you, but risky, for the cosigner. So it'll have to be somebody that trusts you to, not affect their credit as it relates to if they were to co-sign for your vehicle or something else. You can also get a credit builder loan. This is probably your best option because the bank opens up a certificate of deposit, a CD, in your name for $500 to $1,000. The bank freezes the CD and charges you monthly until you pay the balance of the CD. So they loan you the money, freeze it, and they charge you on a month-to-month basis for money that you're not even using because they loaned it to you, froze the account, and you're just paying it back all the way until you fully fulfill the payment of the CD. So your monthly payments are reported on credit bureaus. The bank unfreezes the CD once you have paid its full value. So that's a good thing that you can do in order to establish new credit without putting yourself in debt or acquiring higher interest. So this process helps you in two ways. First, new credit added to your credit report with history of on-time payments. Secondly, by default, you build an emergency fund. So when you put that money and pay it back, you're able to still have that money saved or keep it in that CD, and it can serve as an emergency fund. So that's a pretty cool trick to get your credit boosted and develop an emergency fund. Not a bad, twist to the plot. So the My Credit System provides you with an excellent lending program for the credit builder loan. So let's talk about the next one, credit mixture. The final 10% of your score is credit mixture. You must have a mixture of revolving debt, which is the credit card, installment debt, which is a car loan, mortgage, or the credit builder loan. And if you complete the first 4 scoring factors, you'll automatically have this one complete. So if you just follow the process, you'll automatically have credit mixture because it is pertaining to a lot of different things, what gives you that diversification. Credit mixture, another word for that is credit diversification. Like they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't just have one source of income. Don't just have one way that you've established your credit. That's known as credit mixture. So the authorized user gives you the revolving debt, while the credit builder loan gives you the installment debt. So you got a balance of some revolving debt and some installment debt. Revolving debt and some installment debt. That kind of rhyme. So this is what you got to understand as it relates to what we offer. We had an answer. The My Credit System is the full solution to your credit challenges. Repairing your credit is the easy part. We provide you with a blueprint that anyone can follow and improve their credit. Maintaining a great credit score is a little more difficult if you don't address the cause of your bad credit. So, in other words, if you still have bad habits, then you will fall back to where you were and have bad credit. So you got to correct that as well, because the easy part is just going through the blueprint that we already give you. The hard part is correcting you. Bad credit is often caused by lack of funds to pay your debts on time. You must address lack of funds, and the solution is to create a new stream of income. That's the solution. So become an affiliate and sell the hottest in-demand product on the market, the My Credit System, because a lot of people need it. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and you can earn hundreds weekly as an affiliate and build a team of affiliates and earn thousands as it relates to that. So, what is the offering? What is our unique selling point? The My Credit System removes the mystery behind the credit repair. A lot of people are still confused and they're piecing information together. We remove the mystery behind that whole credit issue that people are having and the difficulties that people seem to have as it pertains to their credit. We do not believe you should be charged $500 to $1,000 by a credit repair company who will only send out letters that address only 35% of your total score. That's what they're doing a lot of times. They may charge you $500, $1,000, $100 a month. I've heard different things, but they're only focusing on 35% of your credit score. Well, what about the other 65%? That's where we come in at. So the My Credit System offers 26 DIY videos. Each video is just about 3 to 5 minutes in length, so it doesn't take you too long to get the job done. 4 rounds of disputes letters. So these are the 609 letters that, that we also include, along with other dispute letters that you may need depending on your personal circumstances. Everybody has a different scenario. You also can get the income shifting membership. This is what separates us from the crowd, that income shifting membership, because it houses everything that you need in order to better your finances overall, not just the credit, plus the ability to earn income. Debt elimination software. This software gives you a debt elimination blueprint, minimizing expense calculator. This calculator helps you look for holes where you may be losing money. Plugging these holes can help you pay down your debts faster. Reestablish credit sources. Learn where to go to find the best credit cards and the best credit builder loan programs. Investment calculator. Once your credit has been fixed and you have become debt free, guess what? The next step in financial freedom is investing. That's allowing you to earn money off of your money, not just be overcharged in interest by the money that you borrow. So it's reversing what debt does to you by allowing you to put your money in a place that grows your money. Whole nother conversation. And the business opportunity, so you can change your credit with our program, but you can also change your life with the business opportunity. Earn a few $100s a month or earn a full-time income helping others with their credit. I mean, honestly, the choice is yours. So these are just some of the features, you know, and it's kind of a repeat of what was just spoken, but included in the great system, of course, you get the credit repair, the income shifting membership is everything that I just listed, the debt elimination training, the software tax withholding training, the record keeping, because if you're in business, you want to keep records. That's what really separates you from just having a hobby. You keeping good records, and we have the app that allows you to do that. Investment education, so you'll learn and understand terminology so you can be savvy as it relates to investing your money and understanding the perks to each type of investment, plus a lucrative income opportunity. So where does the opportunity lie as it relates to MyEcon? It's real simple. The MyEcon system and affiliate position, you can get access to the system literally for less than $50, $49.95 one time, and then the payment is $35 per month. Many people spend their money, you know, going out to eat or just frivolously on things that they don't even recall. Sometimes I speak to people, and if they say they don't have the money, I honestly ask them, I say, hey, can I ask you a heart-to-heart question? Is it possible that since we last spoke that you spent $50 on something that did not better your credit or better your finances? 5 out of the 5 times I've asked somebody that question, they said, yeah, you're right, it's possible. So what do I need to do to get enrolled? It usually gives them the ability to kind of take a cold, hard look at where they've been spending their money and then compare it to the goals that they said they wanted to accomplish, because this is a small amount to invest in yourself to better your credit and get on track to having better finances. I won't go too deep into that. There's no quotas, upsells, or hassle. What you see is what you get. When you invest $49.95, you don't have to worry about an upsell or having to buy into something else or having to have a certain sales quota. Set a quota for yourself, but there's no sales quota that will hinder you from getting paid a certain amount. And there's no hassle, no experience required. Digital and automated. We live in a digital world. It's all automated, so you're able to do things without having to be a coder or understanding how to build a website. We got everything in place for you. Every customer receives their own private portal, so you'll get your username, your password, you'll be able to log in and access everything that I have access to, and you have the ability to refer customers and earn substantial income. So let's talk about the earning potential that exists, you know, because a lot of times people want to know, you know, what kind of money can I earn? Because people do like to make money. Sometimes they just don't like to feel salesy. So understanding how this credit platform works and educating people on what they can do to better their own credit is an easy segue into them not only bettering their credit, but also an easy segue into them making money by showing other people what they've gained access to. So credit repair is a high trend, needless to say. You know, credit repair is really a lot of things, a lot of what people say they want to do when they get a huge lump sum of money. They're like, I want to better my credit. So it's a hot trend, not just now, ongoing. And when a customer purchases the membership, you earn upfront and you position yourself to earn residual income. Now, on the first person that you bring into the business who gets the credit repair system, the membership as a whole, you earn $10. That's your first affiliate membership. Plus you get a 5% income match on them for the life of the business. That's just the first person. $50 on each personal membership, starting with the second membership sale. So after one person has enrolled into your organization, your second person, boom, you get 100% payout, because it's $49.95 to get enrolled, but you get paid $50 that following week. So that's 100% payout from the second person all the way through infinity. So you can bring in as many people as you want, and you're getting 100% payout ongoing, plus up to $40 on each team membership sale. So let's just say that you brought in 5 people. So the first person you got the $10 on, which is your affiliate membership, you get 5% income match on them. So let's not even focus on them. Let's just say the second person, third person, fourth person, they bring in 1 person. You get a $40 override as a team membership sale when they get their first person. And it grows based on your advancements in the company outside of that. Plus, you get up to $8 monthly residual income on membership sales that are active 5 months or more. So up to 8 months in residual is the passive income. That's your wealth. That's what a lot of people work 30, 40 years at a job for, so they can have some passive income that comes month after month after month. You can do that in a short amount of time by being in this business and diving fully in and helping yourself as you help others better their credit. So let's give you just a brief synopsis of the leverage compensation, because you got to understand leverage. We usually understand leverage as it relates to things such as helping somebody lift something or carry something, but you need to think about leverage from a standpoint of your income as well, because if you're not using leverage to your advantage, it's a good chance that you are someone else's leverage. So you got to understand the power in that. So this is just a brief synopsis. Just imagine if you had a weekly of 5 affiliates joining your organization. Okay, you'll get $200 in weekly pay and a yearly total of affiliates, if you're averaging 5 a week, of 250 affiliates per year. And that's a monthly residual that you can have of $1,250. Not bad. Now let's just say you wanted to scale up, or you had a network of people and you wanted to scale up and you had 25 affiliates enrolling into your organization. Well, that's $1,000 in weekly pay, $1,000 a week. A lot of people don't make that at their job. And your yearly total of affiliates is $1,250. So you got over 1,000 people in your organization, and now you got a monthly residual of $10,000. Not bad. 6-figure income from the comforts of your home just by growing the business. Now, let's just say you want to really scale it up and crank it up, and you get and as your team is growing, you get 100 people of weekly affiliates enrolling into your organization. That's $4,000 in weekly pay, yearly total of 5,000 new affiliates, $40,000 in monthly residual. We have people doing that, have people doing 6 figures a month, and that's what the next example is. 250 affiliates per week, $10,000 per week in weekly pay up front. And 12,000 people plus have entered your organization throughout the year, and that gets you a 7-figure yearly income of $100,000 in monthly residual. So this is not small potatoes, so understand the power in it. And you can market the Smart Credit System or the My Credit System for $99. I know this has $119, but at the time of this recording, $99, and you can earn up to $42 on the personal retail sales off of this alone, and $17.50 on team retail sales. So you're never not getting paid off of the work that you either done directly or indirectly. So upfront weekly income and compounded residual income plus the smart cash flow strategy just make smart financial sense. And that's what we're all about, making sense. So become an affiliate today and have your very own My Credit System. So not only can you better your own credit, but put other people in the position to better their credit, and you get paid. This concludes our My Credit System workshop on how you can take the information that you learn in order to better your credit, but also help others do the same. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give people the opportunity to ask some questions, and then we will wrap this training up. I know sometimes I don't get the chance to open up for questions, but we got a little time on the tail end. So I'm going to open it up for questions, and if anyone has any questions pertaining to what they saw or just in general, don't hesitate to jump out. So hang tight. All right, perfect. If you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself, whether it's pertaining, but while you gather your question up. Now, what I went through was the PowerPoint or the PDF that's available in the back office, as well as the talking points. You can do that online with a screen sharing app or feature or similar to what I'm doing now, or that's something you can do as a physical presentation. Now, you will want to make sure you rehearse and understand what each slide pertains to, because if you're doing it physically, then you can't be reading talking points. But that's not too hard. All you got to do is just get an understanding of what each slide is referring to and representing. Now, if you want to start doing creative workshops, these are some things for you to consider. This is what we did. We were able to lock in our local library, and they told us, they were like, yeah, we looked at their calendar and we knew they didn't have anything credit related. So that was one thing. We knew they didn't have anything credit related. They had yoga and meditation and, you know, some other education, cooking, but nothing financial literacy related. Mind you, we had already been written out different spots doing events. We just were paying for the room that they provided, and we just had the bright idea if they're open to having an actual credit workshop. So I talked to the event coordinator, and she was like, yeah, we would be open to something like that. So now we were able to get her to give us a test run, and she wants to see how successful it'll be, and they'll put it on their calendar regularly. Plus, we won't even be out of pocket because they won't even charge us because it'll be a part of what's on their calendar. Now, different libraries, most libraries have different restrictions. The only thing is, when we're doing a credit workshop there, what they require is that nothing is being sold at the event. So when we do the credit workshop, we can't sell anything. However, we can get a sign-in list with the contact numbers, and everybody who gets some value from the credit workshop, we follow up with them, and that's when we present them with the opportunity to either buy the smart credit system if they want some extra assistance on top of what they learn, or they can get the full membership. So this is something each and every one of us can do no matter where you're located. We've been talking to a couple of kings and queens in the movement who are open to do it and planning on doing it. So think about your local libraries, and now they'll be blasting out to their network of people, and it's kind of passive marketing for us. So think about your local library. You know, who could benefit from a credit workshop? Do you have any organizations that you belong to? Are you in a sorority or fraternity? Are you a part of your church and you're involved in your church and you want to do a credit workshop for them? Think about the things that you're connected to as an individual, or things that you can be connected to in different networks and groups and organizations. You say, hey, you know, I actually teach personal financial success. Would you be open to me hosting a free credit workshop? And now what this looks like is you just using the slides that's already been made available, and you showing them what all is entailed as it relates to the credit. 90% of the people in America have no clue about all of those things. All they know is they want to get something removed off of their credit. They don't know the power of the credit utilization strategy and minimizing that. They don't know about getting new credit and having credit mixture. So now you can empower them, do a credit workshop in your area, and make money. I promise you this is something that can be very duplicatable for anybody who wants to do it. So strongly consider it. And if you want to consider it, we can have a one-on-one conversation. I'll let you know how we're going about it and how you can go about it, and we'll help you in the way that we can. So that concludes the training. I want you to reach out if you got some questions. Unmute your line right now if you have questions. Keep in mind, no question is a bad question unless you don't ask it. Talk to me. Questions going once? Don't be scared. I see we still got 17 kings and queens. Questions going twice. And let me unmute just in case somebody is trying to unmute but just doesn't know how. Does anybody have a question? Speak up now, and I'll mute everybody else out.
I have a question.
All right. Who is it that has a question?
That's loud.
Okay, the background was too loud for me to hear you. So if you would, unmute yourself. If you'll click, it's three, on my end, I see 3 faces, 3 heads. And if you click that, you'll be able to go by your name and unmute yourself. And then once you're unmuted, go ahead and ask your question. I'm going to give you some time to find out how to unmute yourself. But I did hear at least 1 or 2 people said they have questions.
Hello?
Yes, is this Yolanda?
Yes, hi.
Hey, I see your name, Queen. Talk to me.
Mm-hmm. I have a question as far as doing it like the PowerPoint in person. How do you do that and with the talking points?
Okay,
like
good
if
question.
I was doing it like within my church or whatever, How can I do that with the talking points and I'm showing the slides?
Good question. Good question. What I would do if I was you, if I wanted to do it in person, I would take those slides, I would look at those talking points, get familiar with those talking points, and understand what you want to say on each slide and rehearse it. But to take it to the next level, what I would do is I would also do a recorded version, meaning if you just even recorded the audio, or if you want me to show you how to do a screen sharing version of a recording, and you do a good solid recording that you're comfortable with of you going over the talking points and adding your own personality to it and just getting familiar with it and just kind of letting it play over and over before you actually do the credit workshop. By the time it's time for you to do that credit workshop, you'll be familiar enough with the slides that you won't need the talking points, because most of the bullet points are listed and all you're doing is recalling some of the details. So you're reading off the bullet points but expounding on the things, on the details that can allow you to educate and not solely be reading. So it would just take practice and rehearsal and preferably recording and just kind of listening to yourself until you gain that comfort. And I don't mind hopping on the phone with you. We can do some trial runs, and, you know, I can show you some things that I feel will help you commit it to memory. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay, yes, it does. Thank you.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Where are you located?
Florida.
Florida. Okay, that'll be great. That'll be a good place to tap into. So let's definitely connect so we can, you know, get you going, and you set a date to when you want to make that happen. You say, hey, I want to start doing my credit workshop by the end of April or by the, you know, this part of May, and we can start working together to making that happen, because a lot of people would like to do physical meetings in their area and not just be online. So I don't mind working with you. Send us a message. If you don't have my number, jot it down. I don't mind helping anyway. It's 501-744-3866, 501-744-3866. And you can just send me a text so I have your number as well, and you can just say, hey, you know, I'm ready to start practicing, and we can go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Any other questions? No question is a bad question. I thought I heard a king speak up when I unmuted everybody. So all you got to do is click the tab that shows how many people is on. It has like 3 heads, 3 silhouettes, and you'll hit unmute beside your name. If you have a question, comment, feedback, doesn't have to even be pertaining to the credit itself. You might just have a question about my econ. Questions going once, questions going twice. All right, kings and queens, I'll assume that everybody got what they need, got their needs met, and I look forward to anybody who wants to implement the credit workshop. I think it'll be a key piece and a staple in your area, and it'll allow you to not only get familiar with the credit industry, but also position you as an expert in your area. And I think it'll grow some legs of its own, meaning that you'll be able to create some substantial income just off of focusing on this product alone. And that'll help you hit your financial goals a lot faster. So do not take this training lightly. Do not take your back office lightly. Do not take the things that we've made available to you lightly. And don't take our extension of our assistance lightly, because a lot of people want to work with us that are not a part of the royalty movement, but we like to work with those who are part of the royalty movement so we can build as a family and grow it into many more things. So that concludes tonight's training. You see, we live in a world where we are conditioned for failure, and oftentimes we are programmed or fooled into mediocrity. So people find themselves living like peasants instead of the royalty that they were meant to be. But you see, here in the royalty movement, we see the king in you. I see that queen in you from start to finish. It's just time for you to take your seat on the throne, because this is where we uplift your character, your confidence, and your cash flow. As royalty, you should establish a solid financial foundation that will soon lead to your abundance and thriving empire. Take your seat on the throne, kings and queens. You are royalty. Salute.